One Piece, words become reality, Lucifer dominates. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 16. Boom. Before Paul could react, the high-rise building was cut into 4 pieces, like a cake that was cut 3 times. A piece of building debris fell, hitting Paul right on the head. What's the situation? There are enemies. It's that monster, it must be that monster. We are dead. The members of the slicing pirates were scared out of their minds and ran around like frightened mice. Boom. A piece of wreckage of the building was cut into pieces, and the disheveled Paul jumped out from under the rubble and shouted, "What's the panic? What's the panic? I'm not dead yet." Seeing that Paul is still alive, the members of the pirates seem to have found the backbone. Although they were also terrified of Paul, his presence at least gave them a sense of security. "I want to see, what kind of kid dares to provoke my cutter Paul?" Paul jumped 10 meters high, and rushed out of the station building. He saw Lucifer standing outside the building at a glance, very young, very handsome, just a little white face, the kind that rich women like most. Like this little white face, he killed not 1,000 or 800. Arrogant brat, go to hell. Paul waved his hand, the air rippled, and 3 vacuum slashes shot out, flying towards Lucifer. He was the cutter who ate the cut fruit, and he was also a famous pirate at the beginning. Relying on this ability, Paul's favorite is to cut off the enemy's head and hang it on the bow. And the name of the cutter comes from this. Tips for carving insects. Lucifer smiled indifferently, and gently lowered his raised palm, wind blade. As soon as the voice fell, a gust of wind appeared out of thin air, forming a huge gust of wind slashing, breaking out of the air. Paul's vacuum slash was directly defeated, and finally the wind blade struck him. Puff. Blood splattered, blood splattered. Cleaver Paul was directly chopped by the wind blade and poured down into the sky. Ding, the host beheaded Paul Kells and got 18,000 kill points. The system's electronic sound rang, and Lucifer's killing point finally exceeded 50,000. No, it's too heavy. Can the devil fruit be recovered after the corpse is broken? Lucifer was a little dumbfounded, and quickly gave an order. Rebirth. The voice fell, touching the rules of the world, and an invisible force was about to escape when it was bound by the power of Lucifer's words. Under Lucifer's control, this force was sent into a fruit. Very quickly, ordinary fruits become devil fruits. Superman cut the fruit and recovered it successfully. Lucifer smiled faintly and put away the devil fruit. Killing a pirate can not only get killing points, but also get a devil fruit. 1 fish and 2 eats, big profit. Dead, the captain is dead. No, it's impossible, how could the captain die? The captain is dead, what do we do? Run, run. That man is a monster. To be killed. Seeing with his own eyes that Paul's body was not found, hundreds of pirates from the cutting pirates began to flee in all directions. Terrified screams and shouts continued to sound, and it was hard to imagine that this was a group of murderous pirates. In the face of death, all are the same. Lucifer smiled indifferently, and dropped his palm again. Wind blade. The howling wind was like a sharp knife, swept through the pirates and cut them into pieces. In the blink of an eye, the members of the cutting pirates were all dead, and even their resident building was turned into ruins. Ding, the host killed the pirates and got 1,500 kill points. Ding, the host killed the pirates and got 900 kill points. Ding, the host kills the pirates and gets 800 kill points. Ding, the host killed the pirates and got 300 kill points. A series of system prompts sounded, and Lucifer's killing point rose steadily. In this wave, Lucifer once again gained 9,000 kill points, including the 18,000 points for beheading Paul. This hunt has a total of 27,000 kill points. Properties panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed domineering, intermediate. Domineering, beginner. Domineering, beginner. Kill point, 70,000. Including the previous ones, Lucifer's total kill points came to 70,000. Slaying 3 pirate groups in a row, the harvest is really not bad. Lucifer opened the system store and found the armed color domineering system, by high-level weapons and domineering. Ding, the armed color domineering purchase is successful. Deduct 50,000 kill points, and the remaining kill points are 20,000. Familiar energy appeared in Lucifer's body, and in an instant, Lucifer's armed arrogance was upgraded to a high level. With systematic blessing, Lucifer's power changes are completed in an instant, and there is no violation of any use. There are still 20,000 killing points left, which is just enough to upgrade the knowledge and overlord colors. Lucifer glanced at the balance and gave an order in his heart. System, by the intermediate level domineering and the intermediate level overlord. Ding, the purchase of the intermediate level domineering and the intermediate level overlord color domineering is successful, deducting 20,000 kill points, and the remaining kill points are 0. In this way, Lucifer raised the domineering and domineering arrogance to the intermediate level. Continued consumption, Lucifer's 70,000 killing points were all used up, and there was no balance left. But the consumption for power is worth it. Isn't Lucifer going to see to hunt pirates, to become stronger? Episode 17, Properties Panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil Fruit, Word Spirit Fruit. Physique, Hell Demon. Armed Domineering, Advanced. Domineering, Intermediate. Domineering, Intermediate. Kill points, 0. Next, it's time to hunt other targets. Looking at the killing point with a balance of 0, Lucifer started the next hunting action. Fyu Island is a famous three-nun island in the first half of the Great Route. In addition to Raging Leopard Reynolds, Blood Axe Adam and Cleaver Paul, there are many targets worth hunting on the island. Although the kill points obtained by killing them are not as good as the big three, they are better than nothing. Boom. 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 Just as Lucifer was about to head to the location of his next target, the sound of artillery bombardment suddenly sounded in the distant coastal port. With the sound of artillery fire, the coastal port soon turned into a sea of fire. Countless pirates, gangsters, and human traffickers fled, screaming again and again. What's the situation? Lucifer jumped onto a tall building. Seeing the sea not far from the port, 3 warships appeared. Why did the Navy come here? Lucifer stood on the roof of a tall building, his eyes narrowed slightly. On the sea, 3 warships are rapidly attacking. Among them is a warship of the highest specification, plus 2 cruisers. The artillery fire on the warship fired in unison, and countless shells were fired to indiscriminately bombard Fyu Island. The highest specification warship, with at least 1 vice admiral in the headquarters of the Navy. So, this operation was led by the vice admiral, Lieutenant General Doberman. Our indiscriminate bombing may harm civilians. Is it really okay? On the warship, a colonel walked behind Doberman and asked nervously. It doesn't matter, Fyu Island is full of outlaws and no civilians, Doberman said in a low voice. But, there might be bounty hunters among them? Are you questioning my decision? Doberman's eyes widened, revealing a trace of killing intent. No, I don't dare, it's my subordinate's misunderstanding. The Navy colonel's heart skipped a beat, and he hurriedly shut up, daring not to say more. Hawk Admiral, beheading his subordinates is also commonplace. No more nonsense, he died faster than a pirate. Doberman snorted coldly. Even bounty hunters are a group of disturbed elements, and they are all targets for the Navy to eradicate. Wanting to implement absolute justice is not as simple as saying it. Doberman looked at Fyu Island in the distance, where the sea of fire was raging. His eyes were as calm as water, without any waves. He is a Hawk Navy. In order to eradicate evil and hunt pirates, even if it affects civilians, he can kill without hesitation. What's more, there are no civilians on Fyu Island, and Doberman will not hesitate to order the destruction. Pass my order to destroy everything on Fyu Island, and make sure that no criminals can escape. Yes, Lieutenant General. The colonel saluted respectfully and hurriedly left to give orders. After the order was given, the artillery bombardment of the 3 warships intensified. Fyu Island is famous for the first half of the Great Route as an island where outlaws gather. In the eyes of the Navy headquarters, Fyu Island is like a cancer, an existence that must be eradicated. And this time, 3 pirate groups of over 100 million who returned from the New World gathered on the island, which strengthened the determination of the Navy headquarters to push down Fyu Island. Hence this action. With Lieutenant Admiral Doberman leading the team, 2 rear admirals and thousands of navies, it was more than enough to overthrow Fyu Island. Boom. 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 The artillery fire roared, resounding. The sea of fire spread from the port, half of the town was engulfed by the sea of fire, and the island became a purgatory on earth. Countless pirate traffickers were killed by shells, and many more were burned to death by fire. The screams came one after another, and the grief was everywhere. Hey, this is simply a small demon slaughter order. Lucifer stood at the top of a clock tower, looking at the sea of fire town under his feet, a little speechless. The demon slaughtering order is made by 5 vice admirals, 10 rear admirals, plus 10,000 naval elites and 10 warships, to carry out an indiscriminate destructive blow to a target location, completely erasing all people and things on the target location action. This is the Navy's highest-scale military operation, and it will only be used once in many years. And what the Navy is doing now is exactly the same as the demon slaughtering order, except that the Lieutenant General is a little less and the firepower is a little weaker. But the essence is the same, destroying everything and everything on the island. I really suffered a disaster. Lucifer shook his head, waving his hand to hit a few flying shells. Looking at the posture of the Navy, it is obvious that they do not intend to let go of any living creature on the island. Lucifer was also on their kill list. It seems that my hunting operation is over, and the Navy is really going to steal people's heads. Lucifer is a little helpless. The pirates and gang members who are dead now are all killing points in Lucifer's eyes. But now, these killing points are all gone. Forget it, let's find another target. Lucifer's body shook, and 2 wings grew from his back. The wings were pitch black, with extremely sharp edges, exuding an extremely evil aura. This is the devil's wings that the hell devil comes with, not the power of the word spirit fruit. Fanning the devil's wings, Lucifer turned into a gust of wind, soared into the sky, and flew directly overseas. Episode 18. On the big Navy ship, Doberman was smoking a cigar, holding his saber, and his expression was indifferent. With his domineering look, he could naturally sense the countless despairing breaths on Fyu Island, but he remained expressionless, without the slightest remorse. As an iron-blooded soldier, he has long been accustomed to life and death. Even if 10,000 people die, the mood will not change. Suddenly, Doberman frowned. He looked up into the sky and saw a black spot shooting out of the island, heading overseas. What an evil breath. Doberman's domineering sense clearly perceives the evil aura on Black Dot, which is more evil than any pirate he has ever seen. Never let him go. Doberman started, suddenly drew his knife, and a vacuum slash burst out of the air, leaping over 1,000 meters in an instant, hitting a black spot in the sky. The power of the slash exploded, causing a gust of wind to blow away the white clouds in the sky. Lucifer was suspended in the sky, the demon wings were constantly flapping, and his face was a little gloomy. Although the knife just now didn't hurt him, it aroused Lucifer's anger. It turned out that I planned to let you go, but now, you are courting death yourself. Lucifer originally didn't want to fight against the Navy, after all. He didn't want to be a pirate, and he didn't want to be hunted down by a bounty. All he wants is to hunt pirates alone, get kill points, become stronger in peace and quiet, and keep the water from the Navy well. Even the Navy has to thank him, but now, the Navy has taken the initiative to attack him. People do not offend me, I do not offend others. If people offend me, weeds will be cut down. There was a loud bang and the air burst. Lucifer turned into a black light and shot at the 3 naval warships in the distance. In just one breath, Lucifer came to the sky in front of the 3 warships. Originally, I didn't want to do it, but you guys insisted on forcing me to kill myself. Lucifer flapped the demon's wings, setting off a violent storm, and the evil aura erupted, making thousands of sailors tremble with fear. Attention, this guy is not simple. The guys who are not strong enough will retire. Doberman roared loudly, and at the same time jumped to the bow of the gun emplacement, aiming his knife at Lucifer in the sky. Arrogant pirates, there is an old man here, don't think about leaving alive today. Lucifer looked indifferent, did not answer, just raised his hand slightly. Lightsaber 8-foot Kyonguyu. Like a demon's whisper, the moment it sounded, countless golden lightsabers appeared around Lucifer. In the blink of an eye, the sky was filled with dense golden lightsabers. Lieutenant Admiral Doberman, 2 rear admirals, and thousands of naval soldiers on the warship all looked at the vision in the sky in shock, stunned. No, it's impossible. This trick is. Doberman couldn't hide the horror in his heart, and his expression was distorted. As if to confirm his guess, in the next second, countless flashing flying swords fell from the sky, hitting the 3 warships like a torrential rain. Stop. Doberman hissed, but it was too late. The moment the roar sounded, the attack had already come. The 3 warships were hit by countless flashing flying swords, and they were instantly blown into 3 huge fireballs. Thousands of naval soldiers were blown away in an instant, and countless flesh and blood were scattered and turned into ashes. Ding, the host kills Rear Admiral Damon and gets 18,000 kill points. Ding, the host kills Rear Admiral Brad and gets 17,000 kill points. Ding, the host kills Commodore Moritz and gets 10,000 kill points. Ding, the host beheaded Colonel Redmond and gained 4,500 kill points. Ding, the host beheaded Colonel Olivine and gained 4,800 kill points. Ding, the host beheaded the Lieutenant Colonel of the Navy. Ding, the host beheaded the Navy Major. A series of system prompts sounded, and Lucifer's killing point, which was originally 0, rose steadily. The soaring speed has never been seen before. Among the thousands of navies, the navy above a major can obtain a kill point after beheading. From hundreds to thousands, the most are 2 rear admirals, and the 2 provided Lucifer with 35,000 kill points. In this wave, Lucifer got a total of 75,000 kill points. Woohoo, a wave has taken off. Lucifer listened to the reminder sound in his head, and a sinister smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Just then, the fireball over the sea dissipated. The 3 warships have disappeared, and only some broken pieces of wood are floating on the sea. The densely packed corpses drifted with the flow, more of which were stumps, broken arms, and broken flesh. Lieutenant General Doberman was holding a broken wooden board, floating on the sea, and vomiting blood. He was tattered all over, bruised all over, blood was flowing, and he was no longer in the same high spirits as before. But damn bastard, actually cough. Another mouthful of blood spurted out, and Doberman was seriously injured, unable to utter a complete sentence. He could only stare at Lucifer with malicious eyes, as if to devour him alive. How is it? My tricks are powerful, aren't they? How does it compare to your general, Kizaru? Lucifer showed a smile, very satisfied with the power of this trick. He was right, now he uses the power of flash, and the power is not inferior to that of Kizaru's flashing fruit. With one move, thousands of navies were wiped out, and only a few survived. Lieutenant General Doberman, you shouldn't provoke me. Lucifer stopped smiling, followed by a trace of indifference. Episode 19. If you want to blame, you can only blame yourself for being cheap. You have to shoot at me. The deaths of thousands of navies today were all caused by you. After speaking, Lucifer pointed his finger at Doberman. Flash ray. With a bang, a golden flash shot from Lucifer's finger and instantly penetrated Doberman's head. There was a loud bang, flash rays exploded underwater, and another huge fireball appeared on the sea. Vice Admiral Doberman, no bones left. Ding, the host beheaded Vice Admiral Doberman and obtained 85,000 kill points. Oh? Is this guy so expensive? Lucifer was a little surprised, but after a little thought, he felt that it was reasonable. Doberman is the elite lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters, the backbone of the Navy, and the value of 85,000 kill points is very reasonable. After beheading Doberman, Lucifer's total number of killing points has reached 160,000. Properties panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed domineering, advanced. Domineering, intermediate. Domineering, intermediate. Kill point, 160000. 160,000 killing points, which has broken through a record high. Good, very good. Lucifer was satisfied. If there are a few more waves, I will soon be able to collect 600,000 kill points. For a while, Lucifer wanted to hunt the Navy specifically. Each elite lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters is worth tens of thousands of kill points. As long as you kill a few more, you can quickly achieve your goal. It's a pity, I can only think about it now. There are only a dozen or so elite lieutenant generals in the Navy headquarters. In the vast sea, it is difficult to find an elite lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters. It is better to hunt and kill high bounty pirates. After finishing this boat, my reward order should be out soon. Looking at the broken arm and stump on the sea, Lucifer shook his head slightly. I didn't want to be an enemy of the Navy, but the world is impermanent, and gods will trick people. That's right, it's not me, it's the Navy. I was just forced to be helpless, so I had no choice but to kill people. Yes, it is like that. Lucifer nodded secretly, then turned into a storm and shot into the distance. Flicking the devil's wings, Lucifer's speed was extremely fast, turning into a black dot and disappearing in the blink of an eye. Marine headquarters, Marine Ford, Marshal's office. Marshal Sengoku wears frog glasses and is on official business. The goat at his feet ate all the discarded documents he disposed of, and he didn't dislike it at all. Click. 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 Suddenly, a harsh chewing sound rang out in his ears, causing the Warring States to frown, and the word well appeared on his forehead. Hey, Carp, don't eat donuts in my office. How many times have I told you? Why can't you remember? Sengoku slapped the table and roared at the sofa, spittle flying. On the sofa, Vice Admiral Garp was enjoying himself with a bag of donuts, turning a deaf ear to Sengoku's roar. Ha ha ha, don't be angry, Sengoku, calm down. The old man is challenging the latest donut record and will soon set a new record. With that, Carp grabbed a few more donuts and stuffed them into his mouth. The harsh crunching sound resounded again. Sengoku couldn't bear it any longer. He rushed in front of Garp, grabbed the donut, raised his head, and poured it all into his mouth. Ah, that's the old man's donut. Carp didn't have time to stop it, and when he wanted to get the donut back, all the donuts had already entered Sengoku's stomach. Then, Sengoku and Garp fought together. Who would have thought that these two would be a marshal and a naval hero? Admiral Crane, the admiral of the naval staff next to him, just glanced at the two of them and did not make a sound to stop them. The three of them have been comrades in arms for decades, and it has not been a day or two since Sengoku and Garp fought and quarreled, and Lieutenant General Crane was already used to it. At this moment, there were rapid footsteps at the door, and then the office door was pushed open. Your Excellency Marshal, something is bad. A Navy colonel burst into the office, sweating profusely and shouting in panic. What's wrong? What's the habit of panicking? Marshal Sengoku separated from Garp, walked back to his desk and sat down. Reporting to Your Excellency Marshal, just now, the naval fleet led by Vice Admiral Doberman lost contact with the headquarters. At the same time, Lieutenant General Doberman's life card burned to ashes, and it can be confirmed that Lieutenant General Doberman has died in the line of duty. What did you say? Marshal Warring State's face changed greatly, and he stood up abruptly, showing a look of anger. Lieutenant General Crane and Garp also looked serious, and there was no longer a relaxed atmosphere in the office. Are you sure? Doberman's life card has really been? It's not that Marshal Sengoku doesn't believe it, but he doesn't want to believe it. After all, Lieutenant General Doberman is very strong, and this operation is in the first half of the Great Rout. Who can kill him? Being stared at by the three legendary navies, the colonel was nervous and had some slurs, but he still nodded. The news can't be wrong, we have confirmed it again and again. At the same time, we have also tried to contact Lieutenant Admiral Doberman's fleet, but they have been lost and have not heard back. Damn, who would dare to do such a thing? Could it be those bastards from the New World? The Warring States period gritted his teeth, shrouded in murderous intent. Check, send someone to Fyu Island immediately. I want to know all the information about this operation. Warring States issued an order. Every elite lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters is the backbone of the Navy, and losing one is a great loss. When such a thing happened, the Navy headquarters could not remain indifferent. Soon, a fleet of the Navy set off, rushing to Fyu Island at the fastest speed. Episode 20. On the endless sea, sparkling, like countless luminous pearls, a pirate ship slowly sailed through the sea, leaving a pearl-foamed channel behind. Captain Charlotte, I heard that Captain John's treasure has appeared. Shall we try it? Captain John is one of the great pirates of the old days. How many Baileys should he have? If you can get it, you can't spend it all in this life. Yes, Captain, such a good opportunity cannot be missed. On the pirate ship, a group of pirates were discussing in full swing, and everyone turned their attention to their own captain. Although he covets the treasure, whether or not to fight for it depends on the captain's decision. Quack quack, of course I'm going, idiots. A brawny brown bearded man laughed a little like a duck. Quack. Captain John's treasure must belong to our brown-beard pirates. Gah, call out. Suddenly, a long sword came through the air, leaving a cold light that flashed away. The laughter of the pirate captain stopped abruptly, and then his head rose into the sky, and the blood splashed all over the surrounding pirates. What? What happened? Captain, the captain was killed. The pirates on the boat turned pale in shock, looking at the captain's headless corpse, trembling with fright. This scene came so suddenly that no one reacted. After they recovered, they found that their captain had been beheaded. Where is the murderer? Find him to avenge the captain. Come out quickly, I'm not afraid of you. Damn bastard, come out if you have the guts. Duel face to face. Dozens of pirates gathered back to back, screaming and shouting all around, but the louder they shouted, it only proved that they were more afraid, and at the moment they were in a daze. Captain John's treasure? I'm also a little interested. Suddenly, an indifferent voice sounded. Everyone looked up and saw a handsome young man standing on the mast looking down at them, and two huge demon wings were slowly retracting. The person who came was Lucifer. After leaving Fyu Island, Lucifer flew for more than 2 hours before finally finding the pirate ship as a base. In the vast sea, it is really difficult to find a boat. Coincidentally, when Lucifer landed, he heard what they were talking about. Captain John's name, Lucifer has also heard of. He was once a member of the Rocks Pirates, a famous big pirate in the old times. Legend has it that after the collapse of the Rocks Pirates, Captain John swept away the treasure plundered by the Rocks Pirates and wanted to take it for himself. However, he was killed by his subordinates in the process of swallowing the treasure. Lucifer vaguely remembered that Captain John's body was found by Mariah after his death, resurrected and turned into his zombie general, who should now be in Thriller Bark. And since Captain John's death, his treasure has also been lost to this day. Over the years, there have been frequent reports of Captain John's treasure at sea, but in the end it turned out to be a lie. What kind of monster is this? Demon, this man is a demon. Dozens of pirates turned pale when they saw Lucifer taking back the devil's wings, because his image is exactly the same as the legendary hell demon. Hey, where is Captain John's treasure? Lucifer asked coldly. Yes, on Crescent Island. A pirate involuntarily said the answer. Really? Thank you very much. Lucifer smiled slightly, then waved his hand gently. Blade storm. Call out. Call out. Call out. Call out. Dozens of flying swords and long knives burst out of the air, hitting dozens of pirates on board, piercing through their chests and heads, and the powerful impact brought them into the sea. In the blink of an eye, the pirates on the ship were emptied, leaving only Lucifer. Ding, the host killed the pirates and got 300 kill points. Ding, the host killed the pirates and got 700 kill points. After killing dozens of pirates, there were only 2 system beeps. In addition to the pirate captain who was the first to die at the hands of Lucifer, there were only 3 pirate targets in this pirate group. The 3 pirates provided Lucifer with a total of 4,000 kill points. It's too cheap, isn't it? Trash fish is trash fish. Just like that. Do you also want to compete for Captain John's treasure? Lucifer's mouth twitched as he jumped from the mast to the deck. Then, the pirate ship changed direction and headed towards the direction of Crescent Island. System, open the properties panel. Properties panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed domineering, advanced. Domineering, intermediate. Domineering, intermediate. Kill point, 164000. Lucifer's wallet is now full, with a full 164,000 kill points. Opening the system store, Lucifer found the location of the 3-color domineering. System, by high-level knowledge colored domineering and high-level overlord-like domineering. Ding, the purchase of the high-level knowledge colored domineering and high-level overlord colored domineering has been successful after deducting 100,000 kill points. The remaining kill points are 64,000. At the same time as the electronic sound sounded, a burst of energy appeared in Lucifer's body out of thin air. In an instant, Lucifer's sense of sight and domineering arrogance were simultaneously elevated to a high level. Episode 21. Boom. A powerful aura erupted from Lucifer's body, and a gust of wind suddenly erupted. The sea in front was slammed by the strong wind, setting off waves of waves. Several seagulls fell from the sky to the deck, foaming at the mouth and lost consciousness. This is the domineering arrogance of a high-level overlord, and it really is extraordinary. Overlord's domineering is very special in the 3-color domineering. It is the aptitude of the king, only the selected can awaken this power, and only 1 person in a million will awaken the overlord, which sounds very lofty. But on the surface, the tyrannical domineering can only be used to clean up miscellaneous soldiers, and it has no effect on the strong. It seems very tasteless. But in fact, it is not the case. The domineering of the overlord is the same as the domineering of the armed color, and it can also be entangled and attacked. It's just that very few people have learned this technique, so very few people know how to use it. The power of the domineering entanglement attack of the overlord color is more terrifying than the domineering entanglement attack of the armed color. The kings of the old era, and now the Sea Emperors of the New World have this kind of skill, which is why they are so terrifying. Lucifer looked for it in the system store, and soon found the domineering winding technique. At the same time, there are also skills to use the armed color domineering. Armed color domineering, 100,000 killing points. Armed color domineering internal destruction, 100,000 kill points. Overlord color coil attack, 100,000 killing points. Each of the 3 skills costs 100,000 kill points, which is very expensive. Properties panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed domineering, advanced. Domineering, advanced. Domineering, advanced. Kill point, 64,000. Looking at the remaining 64,000 killing points, Lucifer shook his head helplessly. He couldn't afford each of the 3 skills. The killing point is still lacking, and more targets must be hunted. Lucifer closed the system interface and controlled the pirate ship to speed up toward Crescent Island. The next trip to Crescent Island is his best chance. Lucifer wasn't interested in Captain John's treasure, he was only interested in the powerful prey. After the news of Captain John's treasure comes out this time, it will definitely attract many powerful pirates. Not only pirates, some powerful bounty hunters, gangsters will go. Even the Navy will take this opportunity to exterminate the pirates. At that time, Crescent Island will become a veritable hunting ground, and Lucifer can hunt the target and harvest the killing point as much as he wants. As the sun sets in the west, a red sun is slowly setting the sea level. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on the pirate ship, shrouding Lucifer in the afterglow of the setting sun. When the setting sun completely disappeared on the sea level, Lucifer's pirate ship also disappeared on the sea level at the same time. A few days later, Marine Headquarters, Marine Ford. In the General's office, the General Kizaru leaned on the chair and cut his nails leisurely. The adjutant next to him made a cup of hot tea for Huang Yuan and sent it to Huang Yuan respectfully. General Yellow Monkey, please use tea. Oh, thank you so much. Kizaru picked up the teacup to blow off the heat, and then took a sip. The aroma of the tea escaped in his mouth, causing Kizaru to narrow his eyes involuntarily. Well, such a day is really leisurely. It seems that today is another quiet day, and I can leave work in 3 hours. Kizuna was very comfortable, leaning back on the chair and placing his feet on the desk, posing as a salted fish. As the most salty general among the 3 generals, it is the life rule of the Yellow Monkey to check in every day and get off work on time. Never work overtime is his life creed. The adjutant next to him was expressionless, and he had long been accustomed to the salted fish attitude of the general. However, at this moment, there was an urgent knock on the door. Come in. Kizaru still drank tea leisurely, and it was his adjutant who spoke. A Navy colonel walked into the office and came to the desk of Kizaru and saluted respectfully. General Huang Yuan, Marshal of the Warring States period, urgently summoned the general to go. There is an important meeting to be held. Kizuna's face changed, revealing a wretched expression. Well, it's really troublesome. I have to work overtime again today. Mr. Warring States is really good at tossing people and asking the old man to work overtime. Why should he give me a little overtime pay? The Yellow Monkey was still paralyzed on the chair, not wanting to move like a salted fish. Drinking tea and fishing for fish is his pursuit as a famous salted fish general. The most hated thing about the Yellow Monkey is to work overtime. General Huang Yuan, Your Excellency Marshal is still waiting for you. Please hurry up. The adjutant next to him said loudly. Hey, that's serious, Rangers. Kizaru put down the teacup, got up from the chair reluctantly, and walked out of the office slowly. As he walked, he asked the Navy colonel, do you know what the theme of this meeting is? It's about the death of Lieutenant General Doberman. The Navy has found the murderer. The captain answered loudly, with a hint of anger in his tone. In the past few days, the news of Lieutenant General Doberman's death in the line of duty has spread in the Navy headquarters, causing countless Navy soldiers to be furious. They all want to find the murderer and avenge Lieutenant General Doberman. Oh, is it about Doberman? Speaking of his colleagues who died in action, Kizaru's face became less wretched and more serious. Although he is a salted fish admiral, he also has a position as an admiral of the Navy. For Doberman's death, Kizaru was also extremely angry. Episode 22. Of course, the most angry is Doberman's direct general, Akainu. When the news of Doberman's death came back, Akainu almost came back from the New World. In the end, it was the Warring States who came forward and suppressed him. Soon, Huang Yuan came to the conference room. The conference room was already full of high-ranking Navy officers, and when they saw Kizaru come in, a few people showed a strange look, especially the Marshal Warring States and the Great Staff, Lieutenant General Crane. Oh, I'm really sorry for being late. Kizaru smiled slyly, walked to his seat and sat down. Okay, everyone is here, and the meeting officially begins. Marshal Sengoku looked around the crowd and threw a stack of documents on the conference table. At the same time, the adjutant behind him turned on the projection screen, and a picture of a young man appeared on the screen. I called you here this time because of the death of Lieutenant General Doberman. The intelligence department has found out that the murderer of Lieutenant General Doberman is this person. Many high-ranking naval officers in the conference room all looked at the projection screen. Several people also picked up the information to check. This person's name is Lucifer, 23 years old this year, born in the first half of the Great Rout. We have already investigated his life, and he is nothing extraordinary, just an ordinary person. But not long ago, he suddenly emerged and suddenly possessed an incomparably powerful strength. We guess that he should have obtained the power of the devil fruit. Only a devil fruit can make an ordinary person stronger quickly, which is not difficult to guess. What are his abilities? A vice admiral asked. What fruit can make him so strong? In less than half a month, he can defeat Lieutenant General Doberman and kill thousands of naval soldiers? Everyone here knows the power of the devil fruit. Although it is terrible, it is not so exaggerated. They are all high-ranking Navy, experienced in hundreds of battles, and have dealt with more than 100 capable people. Confidence to meet any ability, but also calmly face. I have never heard of any fruit that can make an ordinary person suddenly become so strong. Devil fruit needs to be developed. Even with a natural system that can make people stronger quickly, it is impossible for an ordinary person to surpass a vice admiral overnight. You know, Doberman is an elite lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters, proficient in two-color domineering. Even if he encounters a person with natural ability, he will not be easily defeated, let alone killed. That's the point of today's meeting. As soon as the Warring States Marshal waved his hand, the adjutant immediately put on a new photo. And when the new photo appeared, there was a series of exclamations in the conference room. How is this possible? Am I blinded? Just kidding? Many high-ranking naval officers looked at the photos on the screen, all stunned and unbelievable. Even the General Akiji widened his pupils. Hey, this joke is too big. At this time, Kizaru finally understood why when he entered the conference room before, Sengoku and Lieutenant General Crane looked at him so strangely. Well, this is really scary. Kizaru showed a wretched look, but a hint of shock flashed in the depths of his eyes. What appeared in front of everyone was a photo of Lucifer using the power of flash. Countless flashing flying swords poured down and shot at the three warships in the sea. The senior Navy officers present at the scene are all familiar, and they are also familiar with this trick, because this is 9 points similar to the 8-foot Qianguyu, the great general of the great General Huang Yuan. It can be said that except for the shape of the light, everything else is the same. Just kidding? There is only one glitter fruit. There's no way anyone can use the power of flash. Many high-ranking Navy officers looked at Kizaru at the same time, full of doubts. If it wasn't for the real face of Lucifer, they would all suspect that the murderer was Kizaru himself. Everyone, don't look at the old man with such dangerous eyes. The old man has nothing to do with this person. Kizaru raised the corners of his mouth and said with a wretched expression. At this time, the Warring States Marshal spoke up. The Navy has confirmed that Lucifer is using the flash power, which is almost as powerful as Kizaru. However, the power Lucifer can use is not only this one. Then, the photo on the screen changes again. 3 photos appeared. The above are the pictures of Lucifer using the flying sword, the sharp blade storm, and the wind blade to kill the quartet. Just looking at the photos, you can tell that the power of each move is terrifying. There is a legend in the Great Route that newspaper reporters are the strongest spies, and even the CP organization cannot compare with them no matter how secretive photos are, they can take them. At present, we can't judge what kind of fruit Lucifer is, it should be a new fruit. But from these photos, we can see that Lucifer can use a lot of power. He can control metal, gusts, flashes, which are all very powerful abilities, but at the moment it's all in one person. I have to say, he's a very powerful threat. If it is not eradicated as soon as possible, it will inevitably become a serious problem for the Navy in the future. After Sengoku finished speaking, the conference room was dead silent. Many senior Navy leaders all looked serious, and a dangerous murderous aura permeated the conference room. Although the information currently available is not comprehensive, the danger of Lucifer has been revealed. The opinions of many senior Navy leaders have reached an agreement. Lucifer must be eradicated as soon as possible. Episode 23. Let's send troops, we must eradicate Lucifer. The Hawk Lieutenant General Ghost Spider let out a low growl. A dangerous person like this, the Navy will never allow him to survive in this world. I am willing to lead the team. Carry out this mission. I would too. Please count me. Not only the Hawkish Vice Admiral, but also the Dove Vice Admiral also joined the battle. Doberman is a lesson from the past, just sending a few lieutenant generals cannot ensure that Lucifer can be won. Lieutenant General Crane's flat voice sounded. Don't forget, Lucifer still has the ability to fly, and his ability to escape is also first class. As soon as these words came out, everyone looked at the photo on the screen at the same time. Sure enough, I saw 2 demon wings growing on Lucifer's back. Because the flashing sword was too conspicuous, they all ignored it. After looking at the photos, everyone's eyes turned to the General Kizaru. The Lieutenant General is not sure that he can win Lucifer who can fly. The only one in the Navy who has this ability is the General Kizaru. Flash must be defeated with flash. Being stared at by everyone, Huang Yuan had to put away the wretchedness on his face. It seems that the old man must go for a trip. Okay, I'll leave it to you, Kizaru. Marshal Warring States also issued an order at this time. The time to send troops is set for tomorrow, you prepare. Okay, the old man knows. Kizaru nodded, but his heart was actually very troubled, because it meant that his vacation was going to waste again. And looking at the meaning of Warring States, he worked overtime this time, and Warring States did not intend to pay overtime. Oh, my work is really hard. I really envy some people who can sleep well every day without having to work overtime. Kizaru looked at the green pheasant sitting next to him when the name of the yellow monkey was called in the Warring States period. The green pheasant had already put on a blindfold and fell asleep. because he knew it was nothing to do with him. Kizuna led the team to execute the killing mission. Crane, you are responsible for issuing Lucifer's bounty. At the end of the meeting, Sengoku issued the final order. I see. Lieutenant General Crane nodded. On the endless sea, the sea breeze is blowing, and a pirate ship sails quietly on the sea. Lucifer was lying on the bow of the boat, bathing in the sun, holding a glass of red wine in his hand, listening to music, and living a very leisurely life. Well, the Kongtu red wine from 1452 is really good, and it has a long aftertaste. Lucifer took a sip of red wine and nodded secretly. This is the trophy he got from killing the pirates, a bottle of expired red wine more than 50 years old. It has been a week since the beheading of Lieutenant General Doberman. This week, Lucifer was rushing to Crescent Island. In 2 days' journey, Lucifer will be able to reach Crescent Island. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Just then, a group of newsbirds flew over Lucifer's head. At the same time that Lucifer noticed the newsbird also noticed the pirate ship in the sea. One of the newsbirds fell from the sky and landed next to Lucifer. You're so brave. Lucifer raised his eyebrows and smiled, and with a flick of his finger, a coin was shot just into the money jar in front of the newsbird's chest. Then, Newsbird took out a newspaper and gave it to Lucifer. Lucifer took the newspaper and opened it, and at a glance, he saw a reward order in the newspaper. After waiting for several days, it finally came out. This reward is clearly Lucifer himself, and the photo is of himself casting the 8-foot Kyanga jade. In the photo, Lucifer opened his demon wings, summoned an endless flashing sword, and levitated the sky. The posture should be as handsome, as domineering as it should be. I have to say, the photography skills of these reporters are really good. For making him so handsome, Lucifer was embarrassed to hold him accountable for the secret filming. It's just that the bounty is a little low. Lucifer looked at the reward amount on the reward order and was a little dissatisfied. Devil Lucifer, with a bounty of 230 million Bailey, is a heinous crime, regardless of life or death. He killed an elite lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters, plus thousands of naval soldiers, and the bounty was only 230 million. No need to guess, Lucifer knew that it must have been the Navy headquarters who suppressed Lucifer's bounty. On the Great Route, a pirate's first bounty often represents his potential. The higher the amount, the greater the potential. But if the bounty is set too high, it will make the Navy headquarters seem incompetent and have no face. According to Lucifer's record this time, the bounty set by the Navy headquarters must exceed 500 million at least, but that is impossible. Since the inception of the Navy, there has never been a pirate with a bounty over 500 million for the first time. What Lucifer didn't know was that the 230 million bounty was also the result of many discussions in the Navy headquarters. The bounty initially set by some naval staff was 100 million Baileys, which was eventually raised to 230 million Baileys by Lieutenant General Crane. Lucifer is too dangerous, and the bounty is set too low, which is likely to cause contempt by the Navy of the branch. At that time, if there are casualties, it will be too late to regret it. Forget it, the low is low, it will not be long before this amount will rise. Lucifer casually threw the reward into the sea. He has no hobby of collecting his own reward orders, and he is not on his own boat now. Since you've become a pirate, it's time to form your own pirate team. First of all, we need to find a few capable crew members. Several targets came to Lucifer's mind, and these were the crew members he was looking for next. Episode 24. In the New World, on a sea of Wanyang, a huge killer whale pirate ship is riding the wind and waves. On the huge mast, a pirate flag fluttered in the wind. The symbol on the pirate flag has made countless pirates all over the world terrified, and no force dares to provoke this flag. Even in the New World where the strong are like clouds, the deterrent power of this flag ranks first. Just because this is the banner of the Whitebeard pirates, behind this banner is Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. In the old days, Whitebeard was a powerhouse alongside Roger the Pirate King. In the era of the Great Pirate, Whitebeard was the first person to ascend the throne of the Emperor. After 2 eras, Whitebeard's reputation has long been a legend. On the Moby Dick, Marco jumped from the mast with a newspaper and came to Whitebeard. Daddy, something big happened in paradise. Recently, an amazing guy has appeared, and the first bounty has reached 230 million. With that said, Marco handed a reward to Whitebeard. Don't make such a fuss, Marco. Whitebeard took the reward, glanced at it a little, and laughed boldly. Goo la 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 la. Today's young people are really anxious. A hairy boy dares to rush in the sea. In Whitebeard's eyes, Lucifer is really just a hairy boy. Whitebeard has seen a lot of newcomers like Lucifer. Hey, Marco, who is that guy? That interested you so much. Yeah, let's take a look too. Che, what's so beautiful? It's just a kid who just debuted. How can he be strong? We are the Whitebeard pirates. A group of pirates sat on the deck for a banquet. Some people were very interested in what Marco said, but some people were disdainful, because they are members of the Whitebeard pirates. Since joining this pirate group, they have only known what it means to be invincible. As long as they have Whitebeard tattoos on their bodies, no one dares to provoke them wherever they go. Over the years, many pirates have developed the habit of having their eyes above their heads. Marco stared at a pair of dead fish eyes and said calmly, "It's a newcomer named Lucifer. His strength is not weak, especially his fruit ability is very strong." Marco bought a lot of newspapers, so he got a lot of bounties. After several interested pirates took the reward and read it, they were all shocked. Hey, it's not. That's right. It's the ability of Admiral Kizaru. He can actually use the ability of the yellow monkey. Is it that the yellow monkey is dead? Impossible? That's an admiral. If Kizaru died, the naval headquarters would have been turned upside down long ago. Many pirates recognized at a glance that Lucifer was using flash power. In this sea, only Admiral Kizaru can use this power. The ability of the General Kizaru has also made countless pirates terrified. Even their Whitebeard pirates are extremely afraid. Lucifer can use this power, no matter what status he is now. As long as he doesn't die halfway, he will definitely become a world-famous powerhouse in the future. This time, these pirates with eyes higher than the top dare not underestimate Lucifer any longer. Kizuna didn't die, but a second person with the ability to use flash appeared. This guy's luck is really good. Yeah, if I get this fruit. This kid really got shit luck. Most of the members of the Whitebeard pirates are very jealous of Lucifer. In the sea, powerful devil fruits are often chased by countless people, and many people will risk their lives for a powerful fruit. What's more, it is not surprising to kill a companion or even the captain. A newcomer like Lucifer has acquired such a powerful ability, which naturally makes these old pirates who have been in the New World for more than 10 years envious. Goo la la la, the sea is very vast. It is not uncommon for similar abilities to appear. There is nothing to envy. If you want good abilities, find them yourself. There are many powerful devil fruits. Whitebeard's laughter sounded, echoing in the ears of every pirate. Dad is right, we are the Whitebeard pirates, we can find anything we want. We have Dad here, even if we don't have devil fruit, we are the strongest pirate group in the world. Ha ha ha, don't worry about that kid, let's have a banquet, have a banquet. A group of pirates threw the reward order and continued the banquet. Soon, the whole ship resumed its usual laughter and laughter. Only Blackbeard, sitting in the corner, looked at the reward order in his hand, and there was a trace of greed in his eyes. But soon, this greed was well hidden by him, and his expression returned to his former innocence. Hidden for more than 10 years, Blackbeard's acting skills have already been perfected, reaching the realm of fighting on no actor. Flash power, although good, is not the fruit I want. The dark fruit is the strongest, my choice can't be wrong. As long as I get the dark fruit, my ambition will be realized. At that time, the Whitebeard pirates will not be able to restrain me, and my father. Whitebeard glanced at Whitebeard's back, then lowered his head instantly. He didn't dare to show a trace of malice, for fear that Whitebeard would perceive it. Episode 25. Dark fruit, where are you? Blackbeard has been looking for dark fruit since he went out to sea, but more than 10 years have passed, and the dark fruit has not appeared. Seeing new strong men appearing on the sea, Blackbeard's heart also felt a little more anxious. If he waits any longer, he really has no chance. After all, it's not just Whitebeard that gets old, he gets old too. New World, Wano Country. This is Kaido's territory, the base camp of the Beast Pirates, and a place in the New World where no one dares to trespass. Master Kaido, a very interesting newcomer, appeared in the first half of the Great Route, and he was offered a reward of 230 million Bailey for the first time. I heard that his fruit ability is very strong, which is the same as that of General Kizaru. A pirate sent a reward to Kaido. Kaido drank happily with a wine gourd, and at the same time glanced at the reward order from the corner of his eye, and smiled disdainfully. Just a little kid, what's there to care about? Even if I have the same ability as that yellow monkey, what's the use? No one can kill me anyway. If it's an animal department, I can still accept him as a subordinate. Beast Kaido is dedicated to forming the strongest animal-based pirate group, and is only interested in those with animal-based abilities. Although Lucifer is brilliant, Kaido doesn't look down on him. Hey, Jin, haven't you found enough animals with abilities? Kaido put down the wine gourd, looked at the flame disaster next to him, and asked with a low growl. I don't have enough subordinates. If this goes on like this, when will I start a war that will destroy the world? I'm sorry, Governor Kaido. There are already few capable people. It will take more time to form an army of animal-capable people. Flame Calamity is also helpless. There are very few capable people, and even fewer are animals. Not to mention the formation of an army of animal-type capable people? Simply fantastic. Of course, Jin wouldn't say it out loud. That would only anger Kaido and get beaten up for nothing. It would be great if the animal-type devil fruit could be man-made, then Lao Tzu would be able to continuously create animal-type abilities. Kaido suddenly had a whim. How is this possible? Yen Calamity just thought that this was another whimsy of his own captain, but what Yen Zhangjin didn't know was that this idea was actually realized a few years later. On the other side, on a small island in the New World, the red-haired pirates are stationed here. Ha 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 ha, it's amazing, this newcomer. The first time the reward was 230 million Bailey, the first time I was rewarded was only 20 million. Don't compare yourself to others, the more you compare, the less confident you are. Nanny? What nonsense are you talking about? I'm now a big pirate with a reward of 480 million. The bounty is much higher than this kid. Woohoo, 480 million. It's amazing, I'm so scared. I was offered a reward of 550 million. Did I say anything? The members of the Red Hair Pirates gathered for a banquet, and the atmosphere was very lively. Although this group of pirates looks heartless, they are all extraordinary. The pirates with a reward of over 100 million are caught one at a time. Great, there are many who have a reward of more than 500 million. And their captain, the red-haired Shanks, is a super pirate with a bounty of more than 3 billion. and is the quasi-4 emperors of the New World. In the original book, the Navy mentioned at the meeting in 1522 that the red-haired Shanks had been the 4th emperor for 6 years. In other words, the red hair became the 4 emperors in 1516. The current time period is just beginning in 1516, which means that the red hair is fighting to become the 4 emperors, and he is still one step away from becoming the real 4 emperors. The newcomers are amazing. The red-haired Shank sat on a stone, looking at the reward in his hand, with a smile. What? Who does he remind you of? Vice Captain Beckman put a glass of wine next to the redhead and asked, blowing a smoke ring. I do think of someone, but it's too early for him, and we'll have to wait a few more years. I'm just feeling this era. After Shanks finished drinking a glass of wine, he sighed and said, another young man who has inherited Captain Rogers' will has gone to sea. Sooner or later, this seed will grow into a towering tree. Shanks inherited the will of Roger, the pirate king, in his eyes. These outstanding newcomers to the sea are all extensions of Roger's will. Children, there is a banquet. Redhead stood up and shouted, Captain, didn't you say you're not feeling well? Yeah, Captain, the doctor said you can't drink. Idiot, how can you not drink as a pirate? Shanks laughed. And after the banquet, we still have a big battle with the Henry pirates. If you don't have enough food and drink, how can you have the strength to fight? The current redhead has not yet become the 4th emperor. The 3 emperors of the New World stand, and countless powerful pirates are vying for the last emperor's throne. Shanks led the red-haired pirates to fight against several powerful pirates for territory. Only the final winner can ascend to the throne and be on an equal footing with Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. With the spread of Lucifer's reward order, Lucifer's name also began to spread in the world. Many big figures and forces have noticed the existence of Lucifer, and at the same time they know of his record of beheading the Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. Young, powerful, talented, and decisive, Lucifer's various characteristics make many big figures optimistic about Lucifer's future. As long as he doesn't die halfway, he will definitely become a big trouble for the Navy in the future. This is the common view of many big pirates. Lucifer has become famous all over the world. Episode 26. The first half of the Great Route, on the Endless Sea. Lucifer stood on the bow of a pirate ship, looking at an island in the sea in front of him, with a smile. Finally reached. The small island in front is Crescent Island, which is also Lucifer's goal this time. There are so many people who have come, and now it's time to play. Lucifer glanced at the surrounding sea, and there were pirate ships everywhere. There are also new pirate groups coming in the waters behind. Boom. 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 With a burst of artillery bombardment, a pirate ship was sunk, and the ship was destroyed. The victor stood on the boat and laughed arrogantly. The laughter was extremely harsh. Before landing on the island, the cannibalism among the pirates has already begun. There are long-range artillery bombardment, and close-quarters combat, and the fighting methods are different. The pirate group with insufficient strength could not even land on Crescent Island. Hey, kid, are you the only one on this ship? Suddenly, a burst of laughter sounded from behind, followed by a pirate ship. This pirate ship was twice the size of Lucifer's feet, and there were hundreds of vicious pirates standing on the ship. This is really bad? There's only one kid. Quack quack, are all his companions dead? It's really pathetic. Hey, Sally, why don't you give him a ride? Let him go and meet his mates. Ha ha ha, that's a good idea. No, this little brother is quite handsome, it's a pity to die. Hey, Bana, are you crazy again? A group of pirates stood on the deck, staring at Lucifer as if they were looking at a prey. The male pirate looked fierce, but a few female pirates stared at Lucifer and committed nympho. If the female pirate is beautiful, Lucifer doesn't mind showing mercy and coming to the next do. But it is a pity that these female pirates are all ugly, with bucket waists and fat all over their bodies. Lucifer glanced at it and almost vomited out the overnight meal. Hey, kid, if you kneel down and beg for mercy, we might even save your life. Come on, beg for mercy. Ha 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 ha. The pirate ship got closer and closer, and the jeers became more and more harsh. It's really noisy. Lucifer's face was expressionless, and he raised his hand gently. Flash raise. A laser shot from Lucifer's fingertips and instantly penetrated the pirate ship behind. With a loud bang, the entire pirate ship was blown into a big fireball. Hundreds of pirates were terrified, and before they could scream, they were engulfed by the sea of fire, leaving no bones behind. Ding, the host kills the pirate Bartley and gets 6,500 kill points. Ding, the host kills the pirate Bana and gets 2,500 kill points. Ding, the host kills the pirate Sally and gets 1,700 kill points. Ding, the host killed the pirates and got 400 kill points. A series of system prompts sounded, and the pirate group provided Lucifer with 16,000 kill points. In addition to what Lucifer originally owned, Lucifer's total kill point came to 80,000. A group of trash fish, it's so sad. Lucifer shook his head and drove the pirate ship to speed up towards Crescent Island. The battle that took place here was clearly seen by the surrounding pirate groups. Hey, what was that ability just now? It's too scary, isn't it? With just one blow, the Bartley pirates were actually destroyed. This ability is somewhat familiar, I seem to have heard of it somewhere. Flash Ray, isn't this the ability of General Kizaru? Some pirates thought of Kiabu, and they immediately showed panic. Wouldn't it be the Admiral's future here? Impossible, that person is just a young kid, not a Kiwi at all, and there is no trace of the Navy in the surrounding waters. I remembered, he is Lucifer, the newcomer who was in the limelight recently. A pirate suddenly shouted. I heard that his ability is the same as that of Admiral Kizaru, and his strength is very powerful, at the level of a monster. More and more pirates recognize Lucifer's identity, and they also find Lucifer's reward. Demon Lucifer, with a bounty of 230 million Bailey, is a heinous crime, life or death. The people in the photos looked exactly like the people they saw. I encountered this kind of monster as soon as I came. It seems that it will be difficult to compete for Captain John's treasure this time. A pirate captain shook his head and sighed. No matter what kind of monster he is, as long as he dares to snatch treasure from Lao Tzu will kill him. A pirate captain is murderous. The treasure must belong to Lao Tzu. Although they were afraid of Lucifer's strength, none of the pirates escaped. As long as the thought of Captain John's vast treasure left behind, these pirates have nothing to fear. Treasures move people's hearts. These pirates have been blinded by treasures. For the money, they can fight everything. Soon, Lucifer's ship came to the port. After disembarking, Lucifer went straight to the small town in the center of Crescent Island. The arrogance spread out, almost covering the entire town. Some of the eyes that peeped at Lucifer secretly, with malicious eyes, were all perceived by Lucifer. Their breaths were all locked by Lucifer one by one. This is not bad, it is comparable to the Rear Admiral. This one is fine too. There are so many prey, it really is the best hunting ground. Lucifer appeared on the roof of a high-rise building, looking at the town under his feet. A wicked smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Episode 27. 99% of the powerful people in the town were remembered by Lucifer. Just wait until the time comes to start hunting the feast. Don't be in a hurry, wait, there will be people coming later. Lucifer looked at the pirate ships coming from the sea in the distance, and temporarily suppressed the killing intent in his heart. Start now. Although you can harvest a batch of killing points, the follow-up pirates may not dare to come because of fear. It is safest to wait until the pirates with names and surnames are almost here, and then they are the safest to catch them all. Only then can the harvest be maximized. A few days later, in the middle of the night, the small town of Crescent Island was still full of fire and people. Countless pirates are stationed in the town. They make trouble, fight, and loot, which makes the aborigines in the town complain. But none of these residents dared to resist the pirates, and they fled the town and hid on the remote coastline behind the island. Some residents even took the risk and went directly to sea and left the island. In just a few days, the town was occupied by pirates. This is the cruelty of this world. Lucifer was sitting in the corner of a tavern, looking at the pirates who were wanton and fighting, and shook his head slightly. It's been almost 2 months since he came to this world, and I don't know how many times I've seen similar scenes. At first, Lucifer had the idea of holding the strong and helping the weak, but later, he gave up. This is the normal state of the One Piece world, and he alone cannot change it. The law of the jungle is the law of the jungle. Since it exists, it naturally has the meaning of its existence. Lucifer didn't have the heart of the Virgin, and he couldn't save so many people. After all, in the eyes of the world, Lucifer is now also a vicious and sinful big pirate. Boom. With a gunshot, a pirate was headshot, and the body fell in a pool of blood. Immediately, the two sides fought together. There was a battle in the tavern, and the surrounding pirates waved their fists and shouted, cheering and cheering. After one side wins, a stronger pirate joins the battle and defeats the winning side. At this time, Captain John's treasure had not yet been discovered. These pirates hunt for treasure during the day and kill each other at night, eradicating rivals. Suddenly, a group of 20 people, led by a tall man, came to Lucifer's table. Your Excellency is Lucifer. I've admired the name for a long time. I'm Wade, the captain of the Hacksaw Pirates. What's up? Lucifer frowned. Plain gesture, perfunctory attitude. Lucifer's disdain was vividly expressed, and immediately made the pirates behind Wade furious. As soon as they were about to attack, they were suppressed by Wade. Wade's mouth twitched, and he said with a dry smile, "There are a lot of pirates on the island now. I know that your Excellency is very powerful, so I want to cooperate with you. When we find Captain John's treasure, we will be divided into 5 and 5. There are cannibals among the pirates, and of course there are also mutual cooperation. The cooperation of several pirate groups is more likely to successfully seize the treasure. The Hacksaw Pirates obviously took a fancy to Lucifer's strength. However, they found the wrong object. Lucifer smiled. Want to cooperate with me? Do you have the qualifications? What did you say? Do you dare say it again, you bastard? Before Wade spoke, the 2 pirate soldiers behind him couldn't bear it anymore. Bastard, our captain invited you to look down on you. You do not want. Boom. Before he finished speaking, the 2 roaring pirates suddenly exploded, and the flesh and blood scattered all over their bodies, splashing all over the pirates next to them. Even Wade's face was covered in blood. I have been paying attention to the many pirates here, and they all gasped when they saw the scene. They all know that Lucifer is very strong and can use the same abilities as General Kizaru, but I didn't expect him to be so scary. No one could see how Lucifer made his move just now, and the 2 pirates seemed to have exploded themselves. It's because you can't see it that you're afraid. The captain is talking. Don't interrupt the miscellaneous fish. Lucifer removed his fingers and aimed at Wade's eyebrows. Wade froze in place, not daring to move, sweating all over his body. Looking at that slender finger, Wade seemed to see the deadliest murder weapon. During the day, he saw with his own eyes that Lucifer defeated a pirate group with one finger. Hug, I'm sorry, it's my subordinate's rudeness. I also ask your excellency to be merciful, we will leave now. He thought that holding Lucifer's thigh would give him a chance to obtain treasure, but Wade didn't expect that Lucifer would be so moody and would kill people if they disagreed. Now that the cooperation has not been reached, he himself has fallen into a crisis of death. Lucifer smiled calmly, since you're here, don't leave. There is a saying you are right, there are too many pirates on the island, so it's better for you to die here. Flash ray. As soon as the voice fell, a golden light blazed out, instantly piercing Wade's eyebrows. The laser pierced through the walls of the tavern and flew far into the distance, and the explosion formed a huge fireball. Wade's hand was still on the hilt, obviously wanting to do it. But unfortunately, his speed is too slow. Before he could respond, he was already dead. With a thud, Wade's body fell powerlessly to the ground. Ding! The host beheaded the pirate Wade Kelly and gained 12,000 kill points. The system prompt sounded, and Lucifer's total number of kill points reached 92,000. Episode 28. The tavern fell into a dead silence, and the pirates around were dumbfounded when they looked at Lucifer. There was deep fear in their eyes. The man was horrible, moody, and had no warning before the murder. Wade is a pirate with a reward of over 100 million, but he couldn't even draw a knife in front of Lucifer, and was instantly killed. Captain, the captain is dead. No, how could the captain die? Monster, this man is a monster. Run away, you will be killed. After the 20 or so pirates of the Hacksaw Pirates returned to their senses, they immediately fled in a panic. The legs of a few pirates were weak, and as soon as they opened their legs, they fell to the ground and could not stand up again. Forgive me, please. Several pirates were so frightened that they urinated their pants, and their speech was slurred and incoherent. In the next second, several flying swords burst out of the air and penetrated their chests. Blood splattered, screaming again and again. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 pirates were all dead. Ding! The host kills the pirate soldiers and gets 1,700 kill points. Ding! The host kills the pirate soldiers and gets 1,300 kill points. Among the 20 or so pirates, only 2 pirates have a little bit of strength, providing Lucifer with 3,000 killing points. The rest of the pirates are all trash fish, worthless parallel imports. Properties panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed domineering, advanced. Domineering, advanced. Domineering, advanced. Kill point, 95,000. This time, Lucifer's kill point total has reached 95,000. With only the last 5,000, Lucifer will be able to purchase the Overlord Color Domineering Winding skill. It's only 5,000 short, but you don't have to wait any longer. Lucifer set his sights on the many pirates in the tavern. That's the way the beast looks at its prey. Hundreds of pirates in the tavern saw the killing intent in Lucifer's eyes, and immediately screamed in horror. Run! I don't know which pirate shouted, and the pirates in the tavern fled towards the door at the same time. Some pirates break windows or even walls to escape. The next second, the whisper of the devil rang in everyone's ears. Blade storm. Countless flying swords and long knives flew through the air, piercing the chests of the pirates wherever they went. On the street outside the tavern, countless pirates fled. Only because of the incomparably shrill screams coming from the tavern, blood was constantly splashed on the windows. The screams only lasted for 2 seconds and soon disappeared. Then, Lucifer walked out of the tavern with a faint smile. After a wave of killings, Lucifer's killing point has exceeded 100,000, and he can buy the desired ability. Under the dark night, when the pirates hiding in the dark saw the smiling Lucifer, they all felt cold and trembling. In their eyes, Lucifer is a complete monster. He didn't make any sense to kill, let alone a reason. Until Lucifer disappeared into the night, many pirates dared to come out. The daring pirate went to the tavern to take a look, and was immediately so frightened that the screams of terror spread throughout the small town. The tavern is full of corpses, rivers of blood, and it has become hell. Hundreds of pirates were stabbed to death by sharp swords. Some unlucky pirates had several long swords stuck in their bodies and were almost dismembered. Many pirates still had fear on their faces, and their expressions were distorted. One can't help but wonder what happened to them before they died. Many pirates claim to be murderous, but when they see the scene, they are all terrified and shivering. Compared with Lucifer's means, they are too far behind. Soon, the news of Lucifer's blood washing the pirate tavern spread throughout the entire Crescent Island. The pirate captains were all afraid of Lucifer's production, and ordered their subordinates not to provoke Lucifer. Many pirates who wanted to cooperate with Lucifer also gave up this idea. They don't want to be killed like Wade. The remnants of the Hacksaw Pirates, after Wade's death, were immediately scraped by several pirates and declared dead. After finding a hotel at random, after entering the room, Lucifer opened the system store. System, by the Domineering Winding skill. Ding, the Overlord Color Domineering Winding skill was successfully purchased. 100,000 killing points are deducted, and the remaining killing points are 1,500. A force appeared, flowing through the limbs and bones. Lucifer's mind suddenly had a lot of domineering skills. People with domineering arrogance use it in different ways. The most common is staring to kill. But there are also differences, such as Doflamingo, he has never used staring to kill. These are the most basic skills, and they can be mastered automatically as long as the overlord's arrogance reaches the primary level. The most important of which is the use of the domineering entanglement. By learning this technique, Lucifer will be able to use the domineering arrogance of the overlord just like he uses the arrogance of the armed color, wraps around weapons and covers the body. After mastering this skill, Lucifer will be able to fully unleash the true power of the tyrannical arrogance. And when the overlord color and the armed color are combined, the power will be even more terrifying. This is not a simple 1 + 1 = 2, but an exponential jump. It's worth it to spend 100,000 killing points. Lucifer raised his hand and clenched his fist, a red force wrapped around his fist. Although it is not stimulated, the power contained within is extremely powerful. This is the domineering entanglement of the overlord. Episode 29, Properties Panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed domineering, advanced. Domineering, advanced. Domineering, advanced. Kill point, 1500. After this consumption, my kill points are almost exhausted again. Lucifer looked at the attribute panel and shook his head slightly. His journey to earn kill points is about to start again. What? Just then, there was a sudden scream from outside. Murderer! It's a murderer! The murderer has appeared, run away. Lucifer opened the window and looked at the street, only to see dozens of pirates fleeing in a hurry, each with a frightened expression. It was as if some beast was chasing them behind them. Call. A whirlwind blows. Blood spurted out of each pirate's body and screamed. The gust of wind seemed to have life and was desperate to kill. After the strong wind blew, dozens of pirates all fell into a pool of blood. These pirates were terrified of death, with sword wounds all over their bodies. At least a dozen or more, as many as 100, as if they had been punished by Ling Chi. It all happened in a flash, too fast. Some of these pirates didn't react at all, and were killed by the gust of wind. The rest of the pirates wanted to escape, but the murderous wind was in hot pursuit. As the gust of wind flashed by, more than a dozen pirates were killed. This method is very similar to a person. Lucifer looked at the gust of slaughter on the street, and a figure appeared in his mind. That's right, it wasn't the wind that killed people, it was humans. Lucifer's sense of domineering clearly sensed that the gust of wind was transformed by human beings. It's just that his speed is too fast and his swordsmanship is too fast, so he's like a gust of wind. Clang! 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 The gust of wind whistled, and the sword lights lit up, and the vacuum slashed and shot. Soon, the marble-cast streets and the houses on both sides were covered with sword marks. Call out! Suddenly, the gust of wind vanished in a flash, and actually teleported to Lucifer. Between the lightning and flint, a long sword had already slashed towards his neck. The wall of vacuum. An invisible and transparent wall appeared in front of Lucifer, blocking the slash. The murderous wind showed his true body, and it was a terrifying and madly smiling face. It's really him. Lucifer recognized the identity of the person who came. There is only one person who can have such a fast swordsmanship and kill people at night, as fast as the wind, White Horse Cavendish. Lucifer remembers that Cavendish ended up as a member of the Straw Hats in the original book. He has a dual personality, as well as homicidal sleepwalking. When falling asleep and dreaming, the second personality Hakuba will run out, extremely cruel and bloodthirsty. Cavendish himself is a very powerful swordsman, and after becoming the second personality Hakuba, his swordsmanship is twice as strong as the deity. Because he killed too many people, he was called Rommel's attaché by the Navy, and was later expelled from his own country for this reason. In the original, Cavendish entered the New World in 1519, now it's 1516, so set him in the first half of the Great Rout. Is this guy here to join in the fun? Lucifer flicked his fingers, and the wall of vacuum knocked Cavendish out. His body turned into a cannonball, smashing an opposite building into rubble. Swish! 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 A burst of sword light lit up, and the ruins of the building were chopped into rubble. Cavendish jumped out of the ruins, his expression even more terrifying. The wild laughter arc of his mouth got bigger. The second personality, Hakuba, is extremely bloodthirsty and eager to fight. The stronger the opponent, the more excited Hakuba is. Call out! In a flash, Hakuba attacked Lucifer again. I don't like fighting with lunatics. Lucifer raised his palm and lowered it gently. Gravity crushes. With a loud bang, gravity appeared out of thin air, enveloped Hakuba, and smashed it to the ground. The center of the street is sunken, and a large circular pit appears. Hakuba was crushed to the ground, unable to move. Lucifer fell from the sky and landed next to Hakuba. With a move of the finger, the gravity becomes stronger again. Puff! Hakuba spewed out a mouthful of blood, his eyes turned white. Suffering heavy damage, Hakuba fell into a deep sleep, and his horrified face changed back to Cavendish's original appearance. Lucifer retracted his gravity and kicked Cavendish out. Boom! 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 Cavendish ran through 3 buildings in a row and was eventually buried under rubble. Lucifer didn't kill, and the breath of Cavendish still existed. Among the crew members Lucifer plans to recruit, Cavendish is one of them. This guy is very talented, it would be a pity to kill him like this. Ah. It hurts. Who dares to hit the handsome face of this son? Cavendish likes to call himself my son. Cavendish jumped out of the rubble, holding his right cheek, his mouth full of fangs. The right side of his face had been swollen by Lucifer's kick, the corners of his mouth were bleeding, and he even lost several teeth. Cavendish's character is completely different from Hakuba, not only a talker, but also a joke. At the same time, he is also extremely narcissistic, valuing appearance more than life. Bastard, you are Lucifer, aren't you? Did you do it? How dare you hurt my son's handsome face? Cavendish noticed Lucifer on the street and rushed over aggressively. However, the next moment, several flying swords shot out and shot at Cavendish. Swish. 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 Cavendish stood there and didn't dare to move. A few drops of cold sweat dripped from his forehead. Episode 30. Cavendish stood there and didn't dare to move. A few drops of cold sweat dripped from his forehead. More than a dozen sharp long swords hovered around him, locking on the vital points of his body. The closest sword had pierced the skin of his throat, and a trail of blood flowed out. As long as the long sword advances a little further, it can pierce his throat. Hey, don't be impulsive, and say something if you have something to say. Cavendish was a little panicked and waved his hand quickly. Only at this time did he realize that the guy in front of him was not simple. He was a terrifying monster. You just killed me without warning. You should be ready to be killed, right? Lucifer smiled faintly and walked slowly towards Cavendish. The world of pirates is very cruel. If you lose, you can only die. Having said that, Lucifer is about to start, and controls the flying sword to move forward one more point. Hey, stop, misunderstanding, it's all misunderstanding. Cavendish hurriedly shouted, I didn't shoot you, it was Hakuba. It was that guy who did it, it's none of my business. Cavendish was about to cry. This time he was really miserable by Hakuba. In the past, Hakuba caused him a lot of trouble when he came out to kill, and this time he caused a monster. Cavendish wanted to cry a little, he felt too hard. Are you kidding me? Cavendish. Lucifer smiled evilly, I've heard about you, so you think that if the second personality kills you, you can stay out of it? There is nothing so good in this world. For the sake of justice, it's better for you murderer to die here. Lucifer slowly raised his finger and aimed it between Cavendish's eyebrows. Justice? What are you kidding a murderous pirate? Are these two words what you should say? Are you stupid? Or am I stupid? Compared with me, you are a murderer, right? Don't think I don't know about your bloodbath in the pirate tavern? The blood of those corpses isn't even cold yet. Cavendish was going crazy, roaring wildly in his heart, but he didn't dare to say these words. I had to show a bitter face, then what? Do I still have a chance? Have. Cavendish, who thought he would get a negative answer, was instantly overjoyed when he heard the word yes. My pirate group has just been established, and I still lack a few subordinates. I am me. I am willing to join your pirate group and be your subordinate. Before Lucifer could finish speaking, Cavendish couldn't wait. Don't force it. I never like to force others. Not forcing at all. Cavendish hurriedly shouted, it's my honor to be your subordinate. I think I was born to be your subordinate. Captain Lucifer, from now on, I will be your crew member if you have something to say. Don't be polite to me. When Cavendish said these words, he bit his lip and his eyes were weeping, but he forced a smile on his face. His expression was more distorted than Hakuba's. But he has no choice. If you don't agree, my son will die here tonight. Damn, I shouldn't have come to Crescent Island to join in the fun. Cavendish now regrets leaving the country and came to Crescent Island. Yes, you are very promising, and I am lacking talents like you. Since you agree, I will save your life. Lucifer hooked his finger, and all the flying swords suspended beside Cavendish fell to the ground. Thank you, Captain. I will definitely serve the captain wholeheartedly in the future. Cavendish breathed a sigh of relief, then showed a flattering smile. Of course, what was on his mind, Lucifer didn't know. Lucifer wasn't worried about Cavendish's betrayal, though. After all, his strength is completely above Cavendish. Cavendish is a smart guy and knows what to do. Let's go. It's been a night. Too many people have died here. The air is smelly. Change the place to spend the night. Lucifer turned to leave. Too many dead? Cavendish looked at the dozens of corpses under his feet and was speechless. That's all. How can I compare with you? You've killed many more people than me, and your methods are much more ruthless. Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to sneak away? Lucifer's voice came from a distance. Where is it? Don't be kidding, Captain. How dare I slip away? Cavendish quickly followed. Soon, the two disappeared into the night. As for the dead pirates, no one will pay attention to them. Today's Crescent Island town is very chaotic, and people are dying every day. After the Aborigines were driven away, the pirate's body lay on the street without anyone to clean it up. The next day, early in the morning, a ray of sunlight fell, shot through the window, and sprinkled on Lucifer's bed. Lucifer opened his eyes and woke up from his sleep. Getting out of bed and walking to the window, I stretched out involuntarily, and the bones in my whole body made a rattling sound. The physique of hell demons is very strong, and even if Lucifer does not need to practice, his body can continue to grow stronger. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the door. Captain, are you up yet? Breakfast is ready. Cavendish's voice sounded outside. Come in. Okay, Captain. Cavendish pushed open the door and walked into the room, followed by a few maids behind him with a delicious breakfast. Captain Lucifer, this is an exquisite breakfast prepared by me. please take it slow. Lucifer looked at the beautiful maid and the exquisite breakfast, and sighed that this guy is indeed a prince, and his lifestyle is really different from ordinary people.